or a Celeste. The last post I put up was what you'll be manifesting, in the upcoming week, and I told you to choose one, two, or three. Now, I am using the Angelarium Oracle cards and the Caroline Miss Archetype cards, and I asked everybody to pick a crystal. Now, the first crystal that we have here is Celestite. Now, this is a highly, highly vibrational stone. And even just holding it, there's currents running through my receptive hand. Now, this is related to the celestial body, the ethers, heaven, Celestite. Mind you, my middle name is Celeste, and therefore I really do resonate with this crystal. It is something that I do keep near me, especially when I want to have dream recall, lucid dreams, safely astral project, or do any of those things. I'm definitely an advocate for having one of these in your arsenal. This is something that is highly active in divinity. Now, ESP is enhanced with this as well. So you may become a whole lot more sensitive to energies and vibrations around you in your environment, but also while you're dreaming. You can better sense or better tell what is a natural occurrence within a dream or something that is intrusive. And you'll be able to pick up on it, and you'll have that sense that something is not the way it's supposed to be, or it's not as it seems, or someone may be walking into a dream state or an arena that you're in, a dimension that you may be in, or even just in a dream that you may be having. You'll see someone stick out like a sore thumb. You'll be able to sense, see, know that they're trying to either get in contact with you or divulge some type of information, or even check up on you. So the Celestite is a very, very highly recommended crystal for being more aware. It does activate the third chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown, but it also links the throat chakra and the etheric realm. And so you will have more focus, definitely more focus when dealing with this crystal. It's, when here on Earth, the darker crystals, the red-hued crystals, the black crystals, those are very good for grounding energies. But if you're using the Celestite, you have to understand that energetically and spiritually, you have a different sense of protection. Those grounding stones keep you rooted here on Earth, so you have a better sense of that connection and that centeredness and being in the present. But when you are astral traveling or using ESP, you're actually putting yourself in a whole other dimension, another realm of work, another where bounds and boundaries, borders are not, they're not created the same. And so there's a lot more, there's a more advanced type of protection that you will need. That Celestite crystal is my go-to because it protects, it really fortifies your auric field, even in your day-to-day life. So coming from the dream state to the 3D dimension where you're not stumbling, but bustling and hustling around other people, you still have this wave of protection around you. And it can also bring back sparks of dreams that you've had. If you wake up and you can't quite remember all the details during the day, you will get flashes of them. You'll have occurrences of deja vus, and you really do get that sense of being in between, where you'll be able to extract dream messages because your mind will be in a more conscious state, and you're consciously aware of where you are and what you're doing. Your subconscious is allowing certain things to come through to remind you of what you've seen, where you've been, what you've heard, what you learned. And it's for people who have advanced, want to be more advanced with their dreaming state or dream recall, deja vus. It really does strengthen the precognition and the claircognizance, as well as clairvoyance and clairaudience as well, dealing with that throat and third eye chakra very specifically. Okay, I could go on all day with that crystal. It speaks, and I listen. All right, so we have for the Angelarium card, we have Gabriel. All right, he's the angel of heralds, and this is what I mean. There's you're able to hear what others cannot hear. You're able to see what others cannot see. But hearing and communicating, that's really coming up heavy with this Gabriel energy. Now in the tarot, we do have Gabriel, and he is on the Judgment card, and that is linked to Pluto, and that's considered to be the underworld where it resides. And it's not funny that is coming up, but and I don't believe in coincidence either, but I was really feeling I feel the connection to Persephone energy very, very prevalently, especially since always at the end of Virgo season, we're about to hit the fall equinox. And this is that trigger point where Persephone does make her descent. And so this is why Virgo season is so very humbling. And you'll notice the Virgos that you do know, or the energy of Virgo that you do encounter, while, you know, people consider all these negative monikers of perfectionism or anything like that, you have to understand the harvest and the extraction of certain things has to be done in a very particular manner, because everything is about to go into that transformation. So it's a very busy, work-oriented service type of time. This has to be done. This work must be completed in order for this to last the whole, you know, winter, the fall, for those who are in the northern hemisphere anyway. So there's a sense of having to really be on the ready and really have your due diligence with getting all these things in order. So with the Celestite crystal and Gabriel coming through, it's really just saying there's a final call for something. There is a deadline approaching where it's like an hourglass where the sands are running out and there's not many left. This is giving me major ant colony vibes, where they do have to store things. If you've seen those animated movies, Ants, or the Bug's Life, where they really have to store these things for the winter, because soon there won't be anything to extract from the world around you. You'll really be put in an internal point of focus. That whole Persephone thing, she does have to return to the underworld and keep up the end of the bargain in that capacity, although she's more naturally abundant on another plane of existence, bringing forth things that are growing. Okay, so this is the storing period, the harvest period, where everything is being brought in and everything is being accounted for. The Celestite crystal, the Celestite crystal, and coincidentally, which I don't believe in coincidences, but looking at his jewelry here, or just what he's garbed in, it's really, to me, reminiscent of this crystal structure here. And I don't know if you can see that very detailed crystal, but it is, I love this little geode. It's so pretty. It's giving that sense, like you'll heed the call, you'll know, you'll hear it, you'll feel it, you'll sense it, and you'll be able to act on that knowing, whether you're consciously aware of it or you are unconscious of it. It's something that is sparked as an idea within you, or it's a nudge in the right direction. And I feel that you'll naturally just gravitate towards it. Here we have the child divine. And this is still cascading your everlasting, your eternal connection to the essence that you actually are. So the Celestite crystal is really bringing out these characteristics. And I love the fact that these card colors are very much similar. And they're bringing in, they're coinciding with one another. The light attributes is innocence, purity, and redemption. Suggests a special connection with the divine. And the shadow side of this is an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. And I do feel that I'm talking to, for those who pick this particular crystal, I'm speaking to people who have time and time again been in situations or made decisions where they saw themselves on a receiving end of unpleasant encounters. And it wasn't, and when I say unpleasant encounters, I mean the overgiver, the person who has that sense of being naive about them, because they always remain this sense of purity and innocence about them, that they don't assume that people are going to take advantage of that or going to treat them in a harmful manner. They always have this, they see the good in people first, if that makes sense. And have lived in that shadow attribute where they were not speaking up where they should have, or were not telling a person, hey, I really don't like that. I don't agree with that. That's crossing my boundaries. A lot of times there were no real boundaries laid. And so these circumstances and these situations have occurred. So with that, the time is running out because the real work is beginning. A person is, though you are a child divine, you still have, you see around them, there's like a border of protection there. And the only way that something can penetrate that aura is if you allow it, or if there are holes or some kind of interference with the strength of your aura. And so this is why this stone I do use as protection. And I do see it as a sense of being able to calm and cool fiery emotions, so that a person is clear-headed, level-headed, and able to just make decisions from a very serene place. This is the best time to actually allow yourself to be divine and not feel as though it's unsafe to do so because of this protection here and the purity. Everything has a redemptive moment, even those circumstances that we feel that we couldn't get over or that have really wreaked havoc. The time is running out on the effect of those things. It is now time to allow it to pass. And I was also getting dissociate. So that allow and dissociate were coming in at the same time. Dissociate from owning the pain or owning the hurt. These types of things come and go. They don't have to belong to you. You don't have to put them in your suitcase and carry them. That, my friends, is baggage. So what you're doing now with this innocence, purity, and redemption type of energy with the child divine is being your divine self and feeling safe to do so. So when the angel of heralds actually sends down a message, or you're able to channel in a message, divinity, a message of divinity, you're actually listening, because you're not in a constant state of having to defend or ward off anything. If you allow your protection to be what it is, there's not much outward brute force that you're actually going to have to do. It's something that you have to be assured of. You have to be able to sense at all times this sense of protection. You have to be able to pinpoint and notice all those times that it's working for you. So if that phone cuts out while you're talking to someone that doesn't have your best interest at heart, and it always cuts out, but your reception is fine, this is a guidance that you should not be speaking to this person or exchanging that energy. If you have situations where you're supposed to meet up with someone or go out with the friends and plans are constantly being canceled, understand that is your protection working yards, feet, meters, miles outside of you to protect you still. So when I'm not really a fan of the motto that rejection is God's protection, because rejection is not what it is. You're not getting rejected by anything or anyone, but protection is a constant. When you are doing as you're supposed to do, or know that you have this innocence about you, this purity about you, you will not be rejected from things. Things will be ejected from you. And so rejection is from the perspective of a person who feels that they have lost. And that is not what's happening. It is never what is happening. This is working on your behalf to assure you and to constantly let you know We've got your back. We've got your front. We've got your etheric self, and we have your physical self in a protective mode because you are divine. And because you are divine, you have much more to do. And these types of things will interfere or deflect or even deteriorate your life force energy in order for you to do what you're supposed to do. That was impactful. So it isn't about being rejected. That is a fear-based word anyway. And it is a trigger point for a lot of people. So just understand, things are being ejected. Things are being redirected away from you to protect you. And also you're going to see later on, and it'll be hindsight to you then, that in a way they're being protected from you because of how powerful you are, because of how divine you are. There are repercussions and effects that come with doing malicious things or ill-intended things towards a person who is a child divine. So in essence, they're being protected from the repercussions of taking those actions. And to nip all of that in the bud, we have the Angel of Heralds and we have the Celestite Crystal that will very, very much orchestrate certain events. So therefore, for the highest good of both parties involved, not just you, and you may see it as a loss or a rejection or whatever these negative words may be, it's also in protection, equal and opposite for the other person, because no one wants to have that it doesn't want you to enable a person to go down that road where they're at the point of retribution, or they're at the point of judgment and being judged harshly. So it's almost as if, well, we can't even let this person go through with what their natural energy current or their state of being would perhaps do to this person that is so divine. We know that it can be devastating to that person. And so we will keep this person at bay to protect them, but also to protect you. It is not rejection, but ejection. So it's like before things could even crash and burn, they will make a person exit stage left, or like I said, eject them out of a situation completely, and their energy can't even get close to you. So you have to understand this Angel of Heralds and this Celestite Crystal, they're really working on your behalf in a very, very etheric way. This is why astral projection and lucid dreaming is so powerful, because the awareness in that state where you should be unconscious or in a subconscious, super conscious state, if you're actually aware of it and you have consciousness and recognition, you'll be able to see what's happening on your behalf, and you'll better understand how fluid energies work when your conscious mind isn't there to start intervening, over analyzing, or trying to interfere with the messages that are coming in. When you're in that super conscious or unconscious, subconscious type of state, things can occur that you don't have the natural resistance to stop or natural resistance to block. So that is the message I have for the Celestite Crystal. And like I said, in this upcoming week, you'll see something really come to a stop. It'll come to a head, and you will end up at the end of the week coming into a stillness that will let you know that there is a cycle definitely closing out that you won't have to redo, because there is no more time for it. There is no more essence left of that old cycle. It really is null and void. And anything that you do recall from the previous cycle will just be you like trying to do a recap or have a rerun and trying to recall the memory to keep it alive or keep it active, when really you're being given permission to just allow it to be the end of it and put it to rest. It is time. Harvest what you did learn, what you do know, what you do have, and allow the rest to be. And I will see y'all later.